My name's Steve Bogaerts. I'm originally from London, England, and I've been living here in Mexico now for the last 10 years or so. I originally started diving about 20 years ago, and I started in Maldives. And I was lucky enough to have a great instructor, a Belgian lady by the name of Lean Charles. So thank you very much, Lean, for giving me a good start in diving. When I got back from the Maldives, I continued diving in the UK and again was lucky enough to have a great instructor, Lance Jones, and worked through all the various courses up to instructor and all the various technical diving courses up to Trimix with Lance. And then I actually started working for Lance at a dive centre that he had in South London. And at that time, most of the diving that I was doing was in the UK coastal waters, mostly wreck diving, which was definitely a passion, but also diving other parts of the world as well. Did quite a lot of diving in the Red Sea, in Egypt, some diving in the south of France, some diving in the Balearic Islands, and also in the Canarian Islands as well. So even though obviously my start was in open water diving rather than cave diving, I'd always had this fascination for cave diving. Actually, even before I became a diver, I don't really know what it was that first turned me onto it or got me interested, but it was something that I'd always wanted to do. One of my favourite activities prior to actually becoming a cave diver was doing wreck penetration dives, which is about as close as you can come to actually cave diving without being a cave diver. I did a small amount of cave diving in the UK. I had some friends who were dry cavers, and they were kind enough to carry my diving gear through dry caves until we got to some sections that I could dive. But really my cave diving started in Mexico, and I first came here 12, 13 years ago to get trained as a cave diver. And again, was very lucky to have a great instructor, Dan Lins, who was one of the top explorers down here at the time, and had a really enjoyable course, and was just hooked from day one, and knew at that point that I was going to have to make some significant changes in my life so that I could come back here and spend quite a bit of time here in Mexico exploring and diving in these amazing, incredible cave systems. So after first coming out here to do my cave training, I actually then moved back full time about a year later, with the idea that I would do some more diving and exploring in these amazing cave systems here in Mexico. Well, that year has now turned into more than 10 years, and I'm still here and still finding it just as enjoyable, just as challenging as it was from my first dive. And along the way I've had the chance to meet many great people and also work with and explore with some great divers and some really unique personalities, people like Dan Lins, Bill Phillips, Bobby Schmittner, people that have become very good, close personal friends that have taught me a lot, hopefully have learned a lot from me along the way. And that knowledge and experience that I've been lucky enough to get from so many different sources, I enjoy passing on to other people when I'm teaching, when I'm guiding, to try and make people or try and help people become as good as they possibly can, so they get more enjoyment from the environment they're diving in.
Steve, tell us what you like about diving.
I think what I like about diving is the fact that the freedom, the sense of freedom that you have when you dive, that you're completely weightless, that you can move effortlessly in all three dimensions, that you're in this unique world that's very different from the world that you left to enter the water. I've always liked being in the water. From a very young age, I've always been very comfortable and very happy in the water. I swam competitively when I was younger, and so being around water, being in the water has always been a really enriching experience for me, and something that I get a lot of joy and pleasure and energy from. Diving is constantly a challenge. It's constantly something that I'm trying to get better at, to work on the flaws in my techniques, my awareness. So it's mentally as well as physically challenging, and the other nice thing about diving is that it can take you many places in the world that otherwise you may not have visited, so you have that aspect of it. And also the fact that obviously when you're diving you're out in nature, out in natural places, most of which are very beautiful, and actually when you're diving what you're seeing underwater very often is very unique or special or very beautiful. So I feel very privileged to be able to do what I do and go to places I've been and see the things that I've seen and have the adventures that I've had, and that's all through diving basically.
What do you like specifically about cave diving?
Well, the caves are such unique, amazing, beautiful places, and every single one is different. So you can never go to two cave systems and experience the same things, or even the same cave system on different days at different times. It's going to be different as the water's flowing differently, as the conditions you find inside the cave are changing. So it's just an amazing, incredible environment that very, very few people ever get a chance to see. It's also probably the most challenging diving environment there is, so it demands the highest level of skill to dive it in a safe, conservation-minded fashion. So it really makes a lot of demands on you as a diver, and it really gives you a lot of feedback as well. It's an environment that points out every single flaw in your technique, every single bad habit you have, every single piece of lack of awareness that you exhibit. So it really makes you a much, much better diver. Diving in the cave and learning the lessons that the cave is trying to teach you. I've never ever done the perfect cave dive. I don't think I ever will do the perfect cave dive, but it's really fun and it's very challenging. Always trying to do that perfect dive, always to become a better diver, always to learn more about this amazing environment that I'm diving in. And every time I feel that I've got to a certain level, I may be at that level a little while, but after a number of dives of a certain length of time, it's like there's a jump up to the next level, and I'm like, wow, I didn't even know this existed, that this was here, and there's so much more for me to learn and so much more for me to appreciate in this amazing environment.